Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here with another episode of Coffee Time. This is Coffee Time number 30, our 30th episode. That's fantastic.
It is.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Alrighty. Well, we have lots of things to recap from last week. You did the kiln maintenance on Monday.
Right, yep. And I did find the one grindy tool I was looking for out. And when we remember way back when we cleaned out the garage,
Yeah.
I found the grindy sandy tool that I needed, and that made fixing the kiln shelves way faster.
Yes.
Way faster.
So now we have 9 freshly cleaned.
Yep, shelves. The only thing, we should probably get one more set of the smaller diameter shelves to make it easier to get them in and out. But we're good. As far as shelves, we're not desperate for...
Right.
for
No, they're in
shelves
pretty
now.
good shape. Got a fresh coat of kiln wash, so all is good.
Yep, we're good.
Yep, so that was good. And of course, I spent my day glazing that day that you were doing the kiln maintenance. And in fact, we got in, I think it was 40 pieces into our glaze load that we put in on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was a pretty... it was a pretty big load. But I think we only took like 18 of the pieces to our last event. Is that right? Am I right with that?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did get a glaze load in, and it looks like we're going to be able to maintain that glaze load every week kind of thing.
Right.
We did not put up a kiln opening video, and I think that's the reason why. There were it wasn't a packed to the brim load. I put up a picture of it, but I didn't do a kiln opening video.
But we do have some favorite things that are
Right,
here
a couple
with us.
things that are remaining from that kiln load, and we'll share those with you in just a moment.
Yeah. So, well, why don't we go ahead and do that?
Why, sure, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the big things is this dog bowl came out of the last glaze load, and I made this on the wheel. I was slightly disappointed in it, only because I think I made it a little bit too small. Next time, I'm definitely going to make it just a little bit larger. Having said that, we put this out on the ground at our market appearance yesterday, and we had lots of doggos stop and get
Sure
a
did.
drink out of
Yes. And one cutie laid right down and drank from the bowl laying down.
that. Right, you're just so tired. So we did that, and we're going to have more dog bowls coming. Diana's got a couple of really fantastic things to talk
Well,
about.
one of my very favorite things that came out were my tumblers that I had made, and I had shared those tumblers with you before, but this is what they look like. I had a set of 4 of these.
I will show close up.
And they have this wonderful texture on them, but I had taken Amico's Celadon Snow, and I had covered the cup in the snow, and a lot of times snow will actually obscure the texture. So what I did was I put it on, I put 2 coats on instead of 3, and then I even wiped it back so that some of that you see that is brown only has just the slightest bit of like a clear glaze over it, just left from the snow, probably being only 1 coat. But then I put textured turquoise up here on the rim and on the inside, and then right on the rim is ancient jasper.
Nice.
And I love the way that looks. It's very appealing to me.
Turned out great.
Yes.
Your strawberry plate.
Oh, yes.
Everybody loved these.
And-
And this is on that stupid porcelain, right? So the clay that's on this, or that
Yeah.
this is on, is that white porcelain that still haven't quite made friends with yet.
Right.
But
I hand built that one.
yeah, Diana hand built that. And what
Yeah.
did you think about it when you were making it?
Well, it hand builds quite differently than anything else I've tried. It wasn't the easiest to work with. It's quite stiff. I wasn't prepared for porcelain to be so stiff.
And that's the thing that caught me off guard on the wheel, was how much extra effort it took to
Yeah.
coax it into shape.
So, but of course, one of the things it does do is it shows glaze off beautifully.
Right.
And so the strawberries in the center are they're from Sandbow, who does underglaze transfers. So I had put the strawberries on when it was in greenware, and then it went through the bisque. And then what I did after it came out was I used actually used a Mako Stroke and Coat. I used the candy apple. Mm-hmm. And I thought that might do a good job of matching, and it really did.
I'm kind of surprised at how close that is. And of course, guys, I will show a closer picture of this so you can see. Diana made a couple of these, 2 of these, and they turned out absolutely fantastic. They were a bright spot on the table,
and I
for
used
sure.
a clear over the underglaze decal. So
very nice.
Why don't you talk about your teacup?
Teacup, right? So
teacup.
I'm mentioning this because this is probably my favorite cup right now. It's probably the cup that I'm most proud of for all the cups that I've made. And it's just a simple little teacup. It's not even coffee cup size, and you can see the difference in size between a coffee cup and a teacup. And it really only comfortably holds 6 ounces, so it's pretty small, by most people's standards. But I love this. It's one of my favorite cups because of how consistently thin I managed to get it. The bottom has a nice foot that I'm very proud of, and the handle is very comfortable, nice hand-pulled handle. I'm very, very happy with how the cup turned out. And of course, Diana did a fantastic job with the glazes. So this is one of the things that came out of our last load that I'm particularly happy with. It came out very, very well.
I like that too.
There was another purple cup that I really loved that would be closer to coffee cup size, but somebody bought it. And ain't that the story of how our day went? Many of the new things that we took yesterday did end up selling, and like that was the first time showing up at the market. And
it's always a good feeling, though.
It is. So we enjoyed the heck out of that. And you made a couple of these tiny little owls, right? And I will definitely show a picture of these close up. But these cute little owls were made with scraps from when Diana was hand building, and they turned out so great, so cute.
Oh, and I guess I have to talk about.
We have to talk about this for a couple of reasons. First reason is it's made out of that same stupid porcelain.
And you did a beautiful job on this.
This is one of my first attempts at making a bottle out of the porcelain, and you can see the white on the bottom, and it was a struggle. It turned out okay, it turned out fine, but it was a bit of a struggle. But then we decided to have a little bit of fun with this. Diana, why don't you tell them what was fun about the glaze?
Well, I had glazed until my brain was pretty much fried, and I just was like, oh, I got to put something on this. What in the world am I going to put on this? What's left? And so I was like, okay, I just can't think of anything. And then I don't know what caused me to do it, but I went to this Chat GPT app that I have on my phone.
We have Chat GPT on our phones, and we hardly ever use it.
And I think really. I did it for just
for giggles.
Yes,
probably.
Just for giggles, because I was like I said, I was brain dead, and I was just probably playing around. But I typed in, what would be a nice combination to glaze a pottery vase with using, and I typed in several things that I had, and ChatGPT came back and told me to cover the piece with three coats of textured turquoise, and then to put sangria on the top. And
that's the result.
And that is the result.
And it looks actually good.
It's absolutely beautiful, guys. Good. So
we don't.
It's worth playing around with sometimes.
We don't have any intention of doing this often. However, in this case,
but it was fun.
Chat GPT pulled out a really good-looking glaze combo. So that was nice.
So it was fun, and it was like the end of the day, and
why not?
Why not?
So also now it's an interesting conversation piece.
Yes.
If anybody picks it up, we can actually talk about it.
Yes.
The other things, these are some of the things that came out of the kiln. I did make a bunch of cups last week. They're behind me now. I have not yet trimmed them and put the handles on them.
They're still under plastic, in fact.
Yep, still under plastic. I've got to get those trimmed up today. So we'll be making some handles and attaching them to those cups. And that was about it for what I actually made last week. But it was a fair amount. It was quite a bit.
Well, my week was spent mostly glazing, but I did make some things because we were lacking in our plate department.
Right, yeah,
again.
everybody bought our plates.
So I made some more sandwich plates, and then I played around doing something different, and I'm going to show the bottom first.
Nice
because
texture.
the bottom is nothing but texture, and I did something weird to the rim. I took my roller that has the filigree on it, and I rolled up, and I just kept rolling up all the way around. And so what it causes is it causes differences in the edge, and it kind of looks like tree bark, like when you take a section from a tree trunk, how the bark is different widths. And so that sort of is what that's doing. I think it's ugly right now in some places, but I have an idea once it gets glazed, it's probably going to turn out really good.
No doubt it'll
so
turn
we'll
out
see.
great.
But I think some people are calling them live edge, like they do the live edge
Wood tables. Well, even our
tables and
table that we
stuff,
have
but,
here is.
I'm like, it's pottery. It's just a
Very-
organic.
Organic is
It's
a good
an
way to put it.
organic
Yep.
edge.
And I see you've got a couple cups here. One is in bisque,
Yes,
and the
that's
other
right.
one is greenware.
Okay, and if you guys remember last week, I had made a new template up so that we had a smaller hand-built mug, because my other hand-built mugs, which is like this guy, hold about 16 ounces, and for a lot of people, they don't want 16 ounces.
There are people who love a big cup and
Yes.
gravitate towards them, but we have lots of people who pick up the big cups and just say, no, that's too big, and they actually go for the smaller ones, which is one of the reasons why we have the teacup here, and Diana's made some smaller cups.
And so my hope was that this would be 10 ounces, 8 to 10 ounces, and we'll see. But this week I did make a few more of them, and some of them have the straight sides again. But then I did go around with a rib on the inside and belly out the center of this cup, so it has more of a
contour.
Yeah. So anyway, so I made a few of these this week.
Yep.
So they're drying.
Very nice. And now, if we're talking about things we made, we can't talk about any of it without the right context. And the context is we made our goal for the entire month.
Oh my
of
gosh!
June.
Yes.
So
yes.
we made our.
Look at our June
we met our
goal.
goal. June goal is met. We made 100 pieces, and we still have a week of June left. So
Do you
we're ahead of
realize
schedule.
this is the first month we have ever hit the goal?
And we hit it a week early.
Yes.
So it's fantastic.
It's like a celebration.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. But having said that, there's a reason why we have to make those pieces.
Yes.
We've been selling about 40 pieces per week, close to 20 pieces every time we set up on average. And if we're making 40, or if we're selling 40 pieces per week, just to keep up, we have to make 40 pieces per week. Otherwise, we're going to fall behind.
Right. And right now our schedule seems to be working and keeping good notes, and as long as we're able to keep this up with the getting a glaze load in on a Tuesday and a bisque load in on a Friday, and then still being able to make pieces so that they're drying, then I think we found a method that is going to see us through the season, hopefully.
And if we maintain the pace, it will see us through a good part of the following season.
Right. And I've been keeping track in my notebook about, I've been tallying all the items so that we kind of know what seems to be the most popular. And as of this past week, when I did the final tallies from yesterday, the mugs and the heart trinket dishes are now tied.
So everybody loves the little heart trinket dishes, and everybody loves the mugs we make.
Yes.
I'm kind of astounded by the range of people's interests.
Yes.
It actually varies from day to day.
Oh, it does.
What people
Every day
buy.
there's a different thing. And even though those items seem to be the most popular, they're
Neither one of them
for
was
the-
the rock star yesterday. What was our
No.
rock star yesterday?
it was shot glasses.
Shot glasses. Those tiny
Yes.
little shot glasses that we make. So
Yes.
we have to make more of those to replace the shot glasses. And it is funny, it's odd how there seems to be an ebb and a flow in the patterns of things that people buy. And some days we sell a whole bunch of bowls, and some days we sell a whole bunch of cups, and yesterday it was a whole bunch of shot glasses.
It really was. And one of the ladies who got a shot glass, she was very excited. She says, well, when I get home, I'm going to put an ice cube in and a shot of whiskey. She says, medicinal, of course.
For medicinal purposes.
Yes.
Right.
But she was quite pleased with that.
Well, good. And everybody seemed happy with everything they picked up yesterday. We did have to shuffle things around a little bit as the sun came around on our booth. Anything in the sun was getting very hot. Yesterday was an extremely hot market day for us. And now might be a good time to kind of transition into that.
Because, here is our question of the week, guys. How do you stay cool when you're set up at the markets?
And it was extremely hot yesterday.
We're hitting in the 90s.
Fahrenheit, 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
90 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 36, 37 degrees Celsius.
Pretty warm.
Heat indexes are going to 103, 105. It is not usually that hot here this time of year.
Early.
Usually that's more of our August weather. So, and it's also been extremely dry recently. So staying cool at the markets is a big deal.
Right. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we stay cool. And we get by with a little help from our friends, right? And
we sure do.
We had some advice from some of the other vendors, and we're going to talk about what they told us and talk about how that's helping us stay cool. First thing I want to talk about is what probably to you looks like a giant fan, but really it's only about 10 inches in total width.
Yes, my hand is not the size
it's
of a
closer to the
camera.
Right, it's closer to the camera, so it appears larger. But this little fan here, we love it because it operates by a battery, and it's a rechargeable battery pack, the same one that we use for our tools here in the studio, the drills and the hand saws and things like that. But the one charge on that larger capacity battery lasted for the entire market yesterday, and the fan was on high the whole time.
And we needed it.
Yep, and we picked it up. Ryobi days were going on at Home Depot, and we got 2 batteries and the fan for $100, for $99, and that was a fair deal. Right. The great thing about the fan is you can also plug an extension cord into it, and it doesn't have to be only powered by battery. It can be powered with an extension cord. So we'll be using that fan year-round, all the time, inside and out here at Wocky Pots. The fan was a big help yesterday in keeping us cool. And our one regret about that is that we didn't get the fan that has the automatic misting attachment, so that it would mist water.
That's okay.
But we made up for it by having one of these cheap misting bottles from Walmart. And if you give that a little squirt in front of the fan,
it does the trick.
It does exactly what
and
the
then,
misting
of course, you
attachment
can
would be.
always just spray yourself.
Right. You can. And to talk a little bit about why that's important, bear in mind, I am a retired teacher, and part of the time I was teaching, I was a 6th grade science teacher. So evaporation is a process that causes us to feel cool as water evaporates from our skin. It's why we sweat. So that's an endothermic process, and that evaporation cools you down as long as the humidity is low enough for water to actually evaporate. If we have super high humidity, then that evaporative cooling isn't going to be nearly as effective. But yesterday at Shinkitik, it was quite effective. Now understand that the Ryobi fan was a suggestion from one of the vendors there at the market. They told us about it. They had one and talked about their fan. And this next thing Diana's going to talk about was also a suggestion from one of the vendors there at the market. This one is from Anne, who was one of the vendors there selling recycled
she sets up right on the opposite side of us. So, but she told us to make sure that we got cooling wraps. So on Thursday last week, we had gone out to lunch because it had been Father's Day, and Christopher took you to Lynn's for Chinese, and then we went to get him a pair of shoes in Salisbury. And since we were at the sporting goods store and Anne had told us about cooling wraps, we looked for them, and sure enough, we were able to find 2. They come in different brands and stuff, but you have to keep the plastic container because you want them to stay moist. Now, what we found was it was so wide, we actually took it and cut it in half, and then you put it around your neck, and ooh, it's chilly in here now.
Right. The evaporation
Yes.
from the cooling
Yes.
wrap causes you to cool down.
Yes, but we did something with ours because, of course, she told us that, yes, it's wonderful by itself, but if you keep it in your cooler, then it is even nicer. So one of the wraps stayed in the cooler while I would wear the other one. Mine was pink and yours was blue. I don't know why that worked out.
Because they
like
don't have purple, that's why.
I know, that's
If
right.
they had purple, that's what we would have worn.
We would have worn.
But what happens is you can wear it for 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, and then swap it out for the
Swap
one
it
that's
out,
in the
yes.
cooler. And it made the day absolutely bearable.
Yes.
It was not a big deal at all, even though it was very hot.
Yeah.
It was not like we didn't feel like it was too hot for us to be there because of that.
Right, and of course we keep the cooler stocked up with
Ice and water.
And water.
Now, the one thing we found, though, is if we're going to do that, if we're going to put all this stuff in the cooler, the wraps, and we also have a package of hand wipes, handy wipes just for wiping our fingers and
Yes.
stuff. If we keep all that stuff in the cooler is really not big enough for 2 people. So we're probably going to have to get a larger
maybe just
cooler.
the very next size up, because the thing is, you don't want to have one so big that it's unwieldy
Right.
to
Yep.
take.
So maybe just a little bit larger.
Just a little bit
of a cooler.
larger, because we had enough room for 3 water bottles yesterday and the 2 wraps, but there wouldn't have been room for the wipes. And I'd accidentally left the wipes home on the counter.
Not a big deal because we had paper towels and we just dipped them a little bit in the ice water and it was fine.
It worked.
It was fine.
But yeah.
So anyway, that was our question, was about keeping cool.
Yeah.
And the reason we're mentioning is because there were several vendors there who were overheated. They were
Yes.
too hot. And I didn't notice anybody with the cooling wraps or anybody with a fan who seemed like they were too hot.
Right.
But we did see some vendors that looked like they were cooking pretty much.
So guys, if you are someone who sells something and you need to be out in the heat for any extended period of time, really try to do some things that will keep you comfortable in the heat and keep you safe.
The first thing is drink lots of water, but
Yeah.
after that, do things like use the fan and the cooling wraps to keep your body temperature.
Because
skin
when
temperature
you're comfortable, you can be happy.
And we were certainly happy. I had a great day yesterday, in spite of the fact that everybody keeps buying all of our pottery. What the heck? We gotta stop
But it's
letting them do
wonderful. I mean, we had people from Tennessee, from New Jersey, from Massachusetts,
Many people from Pennsylvania.
Yes. So it is my happy place.
Yeah,
and I
we have a
always,
great time.
if I'm feeling down before I go, once I get there, it's like a weight gets lifted from my shoulders, and I'm just as happy as can be.
Now, having said that, Wednesday is going to be different for us because I'm not going to be at the market.
Oh, yes, that brings us to this week. Yes, no, he's not going to be at the market. And it's like, at first we thought about, maybe we should just not go this week. And the reason being is you've got to make that trip to Pennsylvania,
Right.
to pick up the clay. The clay is in, our back order is in, and so he's going to get that.
Some of the clay we had ordered was in stock. The Sheltoe Brown was in stock. But our raku clay that we absolutely need was not in stock. And it's extremely important we get the raku clay because we sold our last piece of horsehair raku, our last 2 pieces of horsehair
We
raku
did.
yesterday.
Yes.
Both pieces sold.
Yeah.
And those were the last 2 that we had. So we've got a couple of things already bisqued and ready to go into the raku fire. But we're going to need more raku clay to make more raku things.
Yeah.
So.
And so you're going to go get that, and you're going to take Christopher with you to help load all of the clay. And I am going to go to the market, and I'm taking my cousin Karen. Yay!
It will be an
Thanks,
adventure.
Karen.
It will be an adventure.
Yes, I've washed our Wocky Pots shirts, and so I'm giving her my Wocky Pots shirt to wear, and I'm going to wear your Wocky Pots shirt.
Yep,
So.
you're going to swim in it.
That's okay.
Let me just say that I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have harder work to do than me and Christopher. We're just going to be driving.
But it'll be a different experience because I'm not used to going without you. So, but I will try my very best to be out there and be as happy and fun as you always are. So.
Well, you're going to be just fine. It's going to be slightly different because I'm still taking the truck to Pennsylvania, so we're going to have to load your car up.
I know it's going to be so different.
But I think it will hold it easily. If we fold the back seats down, I think it'll be easier to get the stuff in and out of your car than it is the truck because the car is much lower.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
And I know all of those wonderful people there, all the different volunteers. If I looked at them and said, "Can you please help us
they would
today?"
absolutely
they
help.
would be right there. They are the most wonderful group of people. So that's going to be different for this week, but we'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know next.
But we're still making stuff.
Time. Oh yes, we are still making stuff. After you get that raku clay back. You're going to be making lots of raku.
In fact, I will probably be making raku pieces with the clay that we have.
Yeah.
Probably not today, but probably tomorrow and Tuesday. I will be working at the wheel, trying to throw some things on the wheel.
Don't forget, you also have to do crate maintenance this week.
That's right, crate maintenance.
Yeah.
We did kiln maintenance, but we noticed that some of our wooden crates that we use for setup, some of the staples and nails are getting a little bit loose. So I have to look at the crates one by one, examine them, look for anything loose or that might be coming apart, and apply a little bit of glue and maybe an extra nail or two, because we need them to last for the entire season, and we're not even halfway there yet.
Yeah. And of course, I'm going to be glazing the things that have come out, some of the things that are back here on the shelf. I always take some of the things from here along with some of the things that we're very eager to get out. And so, because we have the 4-H group coming in Tuesday.
Right.
Because their bird feeders have been bisqued and they're coming to glaze their bird feeders and sculptures.
Then we have a wheel class on Thursday.
Right.
Jackie and Michael are coming in. Hi, guys.
It's an anniversary.
For their anniversary. And they're going to do a little wheel class, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we've got classes going on. We've got a glaze load happening. Hopefully we'll have lots of things to make because I did not yet make those magic shakers, but that is my intention. I'm kind of hoping to do that today or tomorrow. But I also want to make those olive boats and some more divided dishes because the divided dish is gone now too. And it looks like we've got to have shot glasses and espresso cups. So we're down to one espresso cup.
Yikes. We're going to need to make those too. Now,
So-
we might have to have both wheels going. One wheel with raku
Right.
and one wheel with Sheltawee Brown or,
Yeah.
or one of the other clays. I think that it's going to be a very, very busy week. For
is.
today, my plan is to trim up the cups that are behind me back here, these cups.
Right.
I need to trim them and attach handles, and hopefully I didn't wait too long, and they will be just fine with the handles. But after I'm done with that, if not, they'll be handleless mugs. After that, then I need to make some raku pieces, and it does look like I need to make some smaller shot glasses and small cups.
We're hoping to do a raku firing, but that's very dependent on weather and as of right now, we're still okay to do a raku firing, so we probably should do it because we don't know for how much longer we'll be able to do a raku firing.
We haven't had rain in a long time, and we're under a burn ban outside. Now, our raku kiln is powered with a propane tank, and really I would consider it very similar to a propane-powered grill for cooking hamburgers.
Because it's contained. And right now, that type of thing is still allowed.
Right. But if it stays dry, they could even make it so the county says that we're not supposed to do that either.
Right.
So we'll see.
And if I remember correctly, that happened last year at some point in the summer. I can't remember when. But it's extremely dry for this early in the summer and also extremely hot. So we'll see, but I guess we should get that in for sure because it could come a point in time that we just can't.
Yep.
So also, guys, I wanted to let you know we will be doing a map update, and we will be doing it next time. I have to go buy some more map pins, guys.
We're out of pins. We've been sticking so many pins in. So look for that update next coffee time.
And there are so many new folks to add pins for. I am so excited to do that.
Yep.
So if you haven't already told us where you're from, please do, and I will make sure one of these new pins I go and get today, when I get the groceries, will get put in for you too.
Right, and now's probably a good time to mention we're at 282 subscribers, so we are creeping up on our goal of 300. If you'll remember, when we get to 300 subscribers, we'll start posting regular how-to videos. Very much looking forward to that, and Diane and I are in constant discussions about what the very first how-to video will be when we post that. We are getting very close, so if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do that. Get us to 300, and then we'll post our how-to videos, and that'll be fun.
And if you have a suggestion for a how-to video that you would like to see, please just put that in the comments too, because you know, I always love people's suggestions. It helps out so much.
Although right now we are certainly in pottery mode and ceramic mode, there will be how-to videos for other things as well. We do lots of other things that might be interesting for folks to see.
And sometimes the studio is a different place.
Right. Sometimes we're doing different things in the studio, and maybe we'll post a video for that.
That's it.
Yep. So what else do we have to talk about?
I think that takes care of everything we needed to discuss this week, and all kinds of things happening. And
just keep watching and keep looking for the new stuff. And if you have any ideas or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. Just know that we do appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget the bell icon so you can be notified of new content and all that stuff. But if we're ready to go, let's wrap it up and get this busy day started.
Yes, indeed.
All right, guys. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day, no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.